welcome to Digital Learning. My name is Connie Kolosey and I'm the Director of Media, Text, and Digital Learning. And for our episode today, I have two wonderful ladies. They are behind the scenes geniuses that most people don't see or know. I have Cherie Marsh and I have Carroll Bauer.
Hi.
So Cherie is the expert on iStation for the district, and Carroll is the expert on ST Math. In between ST Math and iStation, these are applications that our elementary school students use a lot. And so I think most parents at this time have had a chance to hear about both programs, but and we do get a lot of questions. And so I thought it would be a good time for us to talk and share. So this episode is going to be mostly about elementary school, right?
Correct.
Right.
All right. So we're kind of going to go back and forth here between the two programs. So Cherie is iStation, which is all about reading, right?
Correct.
And Carroll is ST Math, which
Right.
is all about math.
Correct.
And so, Cherie, let's start with you. Tell us, what is iStation and why do we use it?
Well, iStation is a wonderful program, and we use it for a multitude of purposes. It can be an assessment tool that can help make teachers' lives easier because it helps them group for instruction, and it's also an instructional tool. So once a month, the first time that a student logs on, the student's given a progress monitoring assessment, and it gives data for that student that the teachers can use. And then during the month, the student logs on iStation for instruction, and it's targeted right to the needs of the students.
What kind of activities are the students doing when they're logged on to iStation?
Well, they're doing reading activities, and it's about they're learning about vocabulary, they're learning about comprehension. There's a measure of text fluency, which is the reading speed of silent reading. And they're learning about word analysis and spelling. And the lower age students are learning things like letter knowledge and phonemic awareness. So lots to do about reading. There is a writing component that's sometimes used, but it's mostly about reading.
So we've been using this program for how long?
This is about our third or fourth year.
Okay. And what have we seen? Why do we stay with it?
Well, what we've seen is that schools that are using it with fidelity, which means that they're monitoring the students closely, their scores have gone up. So students who use it in a focused manner, which means they're paying attention when they're on it and they're doing their best, their reading progress does improve.
That's exciting.
Yes.
So ST Math, what is it? What's the purpose?
Well, ST Math is a computer-based instructional program as well. It uses no words, so there's no language barrier for students, and it is an awesome program. The ST in ST Math stands for spatial temporal, and that is a higher order thinking skill that allows your mind to visualize objects and manipulate them and move them through space and time. So it's used for complex problem solving, multi-step problem solving. So we want the children to have a lot of opportunity to develop this ability. So children are presented with puzzles, and it is in a gaming platform. And these puzzles are visual models of what they're doing in their math concepts. And the children's job is to problem solve, and they help this little penguin, Gigi, overcome obstacles when they solve the problems. And the nice thing is that it gives them immediate feedback. So whether they enter an incorrect answer or a correct answer, it immediately shows them why they're right or why they're wrong, and they're allowed to try again. It helps the teacher to see when they it's a productive struggle. But when they hit a frustration level, it allows the teacher to then step in and allow scaffolding and help them through that problem. So the children love doing ST Math. They love solving the problems. They love interacting with Gigi, and they keep at it. A lot of teachers use it for teaching. They will pull up puzzles that the children have seen and introduce that along with what they're working on in class, because it is based on their concepts. All the puzzles are visual models that help the children to really connect to what they're doing in school. And so it's just another way of helping them see how math is done.
So I guess one question I have with that is related to the use of it. How much time do we want them on these programs? How much time are they on these programs while they're at school? And what do we want to see at home? And what's the teacher's role in all of this? So do we just stick them on the computer and the computer teaches them? Or how does that work? Let's start with ST Math, or iStation.
So I'll start with the teacher role, because it's really crucial that the teacher is closely monitoring the data and the students while they're taking the assessments or while they're on there for instruction, because we want the students to be really focused. So the teacher plays an important part in that role. So how much time do we want the students on there for iStation? It depends. As the students take an assessment each month, it places the students in what we call tiers or groups. So if a child is in tier 1, that means that the student is performing successfully, and our expectation is that they're on there 30 minutes a week. So part of that can be at school, part of that can be at home if they have internet access. So that would be for your tier 1 students. Your tier 2 students are ones who are struggling somewhat, and our expectation is that they're on 60 minutes a week. Because
So an hour a week.
yes. And remember, it's targeting the instruction to exactly what the student needs. So it's an hour of good instruction, exactly what your child needs if they're on there focused and paying attention and doing their best. Now the students who are in tier 3 are those students who are more behind and more struggling, and we ask that they be on there 90 minutes a week.
And so do they have that 90 minutes a week while they're at school, or are we needing the time at home to get to that 90 minutes?
Well, different schools handle that differently. It is, as you can imagine, harder to fit 90 minutes in than it is to fit 30 minutes in. So if the student has internet access at home, it's an awesome kind of homework that if the schools assign homework, that would be a wonderful thing to assign for your students who are struggling. And parents' role in that would again be like the teacher's role, to make sure that when the students are on it at home, that it's quiet and that they're paying close attention to what they're being instructed in. They cannot take assessments at home, just the instruction part of it.
So it's really focused homework.
It is targeted exactly what the child needs.
And really, what more does a child need than to learn how to read well?
That's so important.
In elementary school. Having been the secondary reading supervisor, your task is critical.
Absolutely, and as a parent and a grandparent, that's so important to me that all of our students in Pinellas County become good readers and enjoy reading.
So right along with importance in reading is math,
Absolutely.
ability, and literacy. So what are we looking at in terms of time and expectations for ST Math?
Well, a lot of what Cherie is saying about iStation is very true for ST Math. ST Math has a set curriculum for the year, so the children are placed in the grade level that's appropriate for them, and they work either 60 minutes a week in school during in kindergarten and first grade, or it's recommended they work 90 minutes for 2 through 5. That's just simply to help them make it through their curriculum. So we know that each school has its own needs and areas of concern, and so the children get onto the program and they work independently. They interact with Gigi. The teacher is very important. Teacher monitors the children while they're working, walks around to see if they're unsuccessful, why is that? There are alerts that tell them this child may need some instruction from you or support from you, but also monitors the children who are doing well to find out how are you managed to do that? How did you help Gigi cross the screen? What math are you doing can you connect that to what we're doing in class? So they're out-of-the-box puzzles, and so they look differently than the children see during their instruction with the teacher. But it is the same, it's focusing on the same concepts that they need. So
the teacher is still teaching math.
absolutely.
And we have a core curriculum that
Absolutely,
we're working from.
yes. And so this is done generally during their intervention time. So it's not an intervention program as iStation is, but it's done during their intervention time, and the teacher then is able to work with them, pull children and talk to children about what they're doing. The core is still going on. Teacher may use the puzzles to work in core. They may do a warm-up or a small group lesson or even a whole group lesson with a puzzle, just to help children make connections to what it looks like in ST Math and what it looks like in what they're doing in the classroom. They can go home and do this, absolutely. We want them, if they have the opportunity, if they have the internet connection, to be able to go home and do it. Doesn't have to be at home. They could be at a grandparent's or at the Y or the library or anywhere. They just have to be able to log in, and they can work on any puzzles they've already completed to deepen their understanding, to work on strategy development, and the teacher assigns homework. So the intent of all homework, even in any program, is to reinforce what the teacher's taught. So hopefully that's what they're doing. They're going back and working on what the teacher's already taught, or even trying to come forward to where the teacher is already teaching it. Maybe they've gotten a little behind. So either way.
Well, that's a good point about homework, because really when a child finds himself in a situation where they're sitting there with a blank look and their work in front of them and they don't have a clue what to do, it's a sign of a problem.
Right.
And so these digital resources can support home, and we'll talk a little bit more about that too. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the progress in math is a little different than the progress in literacy, because math is very sequential.
Correct.
You have to know this before you can get this, and it goes forward like that. Whereas with reading, I think it's more circular. You increase your comprehension skills as you go, and then you it isn't that we do main idea in detail, check, we have it, because we're doing main idea in detail all the way through our instruction. So the progress is measured differently. So you mentioned that there's a curriculum that the students are actually working through in ST Math.
And even with mathematics, you're building a foundation, and you're using that same foundation to hold up higher math.
Right.
And so they need that at the basic level. And so even in the puzzles, as they progress through the different levels and through the different objectives, they become more difficult. The children are building on the previous knowledge that they've had, and from grade level to grade level to grade level, it works that way. So that the children are gaining that understanding and the development of mathematics.
And with mathematics, if you're working on this concept, but you have a component that you've missed, you might not have missed everything, but you might have missed a component, and it's really difficult to move forward.
Right,
with
which is why it's great for teachers, because a teacher can access all the grade levels and can go back and review or remediate some using the puzzles to help the children understand, well, where am I missing? What am I missing? And how can I make a connection to what I need to be working on now? So that means that the teacher really needs to be asking questions and talking and interacting with the child. And
so, Cherie, just with the reading progress, really the more you read, the better you read.
Absolutely. And iStation is what they call adaptive. So it's going to adapt to exactly what the student needs. If I have a second grade child and they're missing some things in phonics that would have been learned in kindergarten or first grade, iStation will take them back through those things and instruct them in it. And likewise, if they're above average reader, it's going to push them up into above level reading. So it's great for all students, those who are struggling, and also for enrichment for those who are at or above grade level.
So we're going to pause here for a minute, and we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at how parents can help their students access these great resources when they're at home. So stay with us.